Travelling on Docklands Light Railway from Bank Station, I arrive at Greenwich, which was made a royal borough in 2012. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Previously patronised by monarchs, there used to be a palace, but that was demolished in 1662, with only the Queen's house dating from 1619 remaining, the work of the celebrated architect Inigo Jones. Today, in terms of popularity, it has to compete with the Royal Observatory, where time is measured, and the painted ceiling in the old Royal Naval College, and therefore sometimes overlooked. It is free to enter, therefore a great opportunity for a visit, and you might catch sight of the locals. Let's take a look. I took these interior images a few years ago with the Olympus EM1 Mark II and the 12-50 lens. I left the mode on program, increased the ISO to 400, and although white balance was on cloudy, as I had saved a RAW, it was easy to adjust later in Adobe Lightroom. They are all handheld, the shutter speed often around a quarter of a second. There used to be a ferry service across the Thames from Greenwich to the docks, now the home of Canary Wharf, but it was unreliable, so a foot tunnel was constructed and opened in 1902. The tunnel does not really excite photographically, but it is an interesting experience. I entered from the southern portal near the Cutty-Sark. There are steps down, but I was guilty of taking the lift back up at the other end. Much of the success of landscape and architectural photography is not just camera settings, but being in the right place at the right time. The main facade of the old Royal Naval College faces northwest, therefore only receives direct sunlight during the summer months in the evening. The Greenwich Tunnel provides convenient foot access to the north bank of the river, with a glorious uninterrupted panorama back to the college, when, of course, the weather plays its part, even in July, and not to mention the state of the tide of the Thames. For comparison, this is 1 p.m, now compare it to 5 p.m. I love discovering the unusual in surprising places, and Mudchute Park and Farm certainly fall into that category, where sheep and other animals safely graze. The unusual name derives from the area being a dumping ground in the 19th century for mud from nearby docks that were being dredged to prevent them silting up. It apparently did stink. In the early 1970s, with Millwall docks closing, the land became a public open space, the farm and garden established in 1977, today in the shadow of the Canary Wharf skyscrapers. Preserved in Mudchute Farm is an ack-ack gun. I don't know much about guns, but it seemed to be well preserved. It was used for the defence of the London docks during World War II. I wonder if it still works. Finding a way back into central London from Canary Wharf can be bewildering. I passed Millwall docks as they exist today, preferring the distant aspect of Canary Wharf before taking the train into its centre, where I found the concentration of skyscrapers overpowering. I quickly moved on, but even for the seasoned traveller on foot, this public sculpture, the traffic light tree, didn't help. First installed at Heron Quay roundabout, it eventually found its way in 2014 to Trafalgar Way roundabout in Poplar. Its current location is correctly marked on Google Maps. They might be confusing for motorists, but entertaining for pedestrians. But I will still catch the train. Keeping to and finishing with the unexpected, tucked away from popular gaze in London's West End, not far from Oxford Street, is All Saints' Church in Margaret Street. Described by Simon Jenkins in his book England's 1,000 Best Churches, it is regarded architecturally as England's most celebrated Victorian church. It is the interior that has the greatest photographic appeal, and being dark inside, it quickly became a test for the image stabilizer in my camera and my technique. As with Queen's House, I handheld the EM1 Mark II plus the 12-50 zoom at 400 ISO, often at shutter speeds of around 1/10 of a second.